Hello everyone, and we are back with another video. Thank you for coming to my channel. Please make sure to like, rate, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. So today's video is going to be on inspecting your valve clearance on your VQ35DE or your Nissan 350Z motor. Yeah, let's get started. So what I'm going to be doing is putting my compression tester in cylinder 1, which is going to be the first port on the passenger side. It goes 135, 246 when it's front of the vehicle. Yes, in front of the vehicle, 135, 246. So I'm going to be putting this right now down here in the spark plug and tightening it. Careful. Alright guys, so got the compression tube in. I'm going to put the actual gauge right here so I can see it. We're going to be spinning the crankshaft clockwise. That's the way it's turning. Got my 19mm socket with the ratchet. We're going to be turning this and waiting to see till this compression tester will build up pressure. That's how we'll know. Right there, I was building that pressure. There we go, went up to 30 PSI right there. So this is pretty simple for me just because my motor was basically already at top dead center for my number 1 cylinder. So if you're doing this and you're supposed to mark, or the notches are supposed to meet up on the timing cover with the pulley. My cover is already taken off. I forgot to do clearance before I took off the cover. They're supposed to line up right around, I think it's around here. Yeah, right around here. But since it is not there, and let's say you're cranking it around and you get this lined up for cylinder 1 and there's no compression, that means that your cylinder 1 is on its exhaust stroke. But yeah, now that we are here, I'm just going to move that right there. And then move this. So that was very easy for me to get to top dead center on cylinder 1 just because my motor is almost already there. If you don't have a compression tester gauge, what you can do is use a blunt object to put over this port right here to feel for compression. And the marks, I don't have my timing cover on right now. I forgot to do valve clearance and all of that before this was taken off. But normally you will be able to find the notch when the top dead center should be, which there's a notch right here on the pulley, and there should be another notch on the actual timing cover which should line up right around there. I don't have mine on, but yeah. And then also, so we're at top dead center on cylinder 1. Following the firing order, every time you rotate the crank 120 degrees, you should be in the next cylinder's compression top dead center for the next cylinder on the firing order. So every 120 degrees, once you've already set your cylinder 1 to top dead center, every 120 degrees turn of the crankshaft, you should be at the next cylinder's firing order top dead center compression. So yeah, let's get started on this. So, as you can see, I'm using a manual. I'm going by the manual. And I'm trying to do what I know on this vehicle to show you guys. But, I am not myself the manual. Even though I did attend Lincoln College of Technology and I went to school and got a diesel certification and I completed my program with really good grades, I still have a lot to learn. I am a mechanic who is beginning his career. So while I'm going through this, you may see that I'm learning stuff and I don't just know everything off the top of my head. That's because I am learning stuff. Even though I attended school for 9 months, it's a 14-month program, but I did it in 9 months. Even though I attended that school and I learned a lot, as a mechanic, you're going to be constantly learning new things. And I will say, you're going to make mistakes. There's going to be problems. I've made many mistakes. Mechanics that work at shops make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. And the real thing is, once you've made that mistake, you can learn to correct yourself in the future. I don't know really where I'm going with this, but make sure you do your research. I shouldn't be your only research when it comes to checking valve clearance or building a motor or this and that. Even though I'm making videos on doing that stuff, you should always do your own research as well. I think that's a really smart thing and a good thing to do. Because once you've done it yourself and you've done research, even though you may have watched my videos, you may still want to go through a manual or buy a book like the book that I have right here. It's a repair manual. You may want to get that just so you have that hard paper evidence or that visual evidence right there so you know that you're doing the right job. The videos that I'm making are more of just a going along with and seeing if I'm if you can follow along with me in what I am doing, but it's always good that you do your own research when you're building. I wouldn't watch a video on this one mechanic who does this on a Honda, just only watch him and say, okay, now I'm going to do the exact same thing he does and everything will go right, because it may not. So, to get to the point, even though I'm making these videos, I still am a mechanic who's learning the trade. Definitely watch my videos. I hope you guys enjoy them, and hopefully they're very informative. I honestly think out of all of the 350Z YouTubers out there, I believe that I am the most descriptive when it comes to doing what I do. There may be YouTube channels out there that are more descriptive than me. I'm not sure. I don't actually really watch that many YouTubers that do Z's. But I try to be as informative and as descriptive as I can be. I really hope I can do the best I can for you guys, but make sure you do your own research, because that's really the only way you'll truly learn, is by watching me or just learning it on your own or researching on your own or doing that. So I really hope that I can be a help to the community when it comes to working on these motors and working on these vehicles, because I'm part of the community. I love it very much and I won't stop. So yeah, end of rant speech. Alright, so we are on number 1 piston at top dead center on compression. We are going to be checking the valve clearance right now on number 1 and number 6 intake valves. And your intake valves are going to be right here. So, we're going to check clearance. That seems to be a little bit, that's tight. Let's try 11 thousandths, see where we get. 11 thousandths is still too tight also. Let's go down to 10 thousandths. Alright, so 10 thousandths works. Now that I'm at 10 thousandths, I'm going to go back up to 11 and just see where that is at and see if that works. Just to see if that. Now, so now let's check the other one. Okay, so that one has 11. Now let's go to 12 and see if so this intake valve has 12 thousandths clearance, which is specified OEM. This valve has 10 thousandths clearance. So I'm going to mark that down. And I'm going to mark it down by, this is going to be front of motor. 12 thousandths and 10 thousandths. So now that the number 1 piston is at TDC on the compression stroke, we just checked valve clearance for number 1 cylinder. On intake, we received 12 thousandths here and 10 thousandths here. Specification is 12 thousandths. So now we're going to move on. I'm going to stay on this side and do the number 3 cylinder exhaust valves, and the OEM specifications for clearance cold are 13 thousandths. So going right here, this is 3rd cylinder exhaust. We're going to get that. I'm going to put this to 13 thousandths and see how this goes. Let's see. So 13 thousandths does not work on either, too big, so I'm going to go down to 12 thousandths. Let's see. Be very gentle with it. So no on 12 thousandths. No on 12 thousandths. Alright, so now we're going to go down to 11 thousandths. Check to see if the clearance is set at 11. Valve nearest to the back of the motor on number 3 exhaust valve is 11 thousandths of clearance. And the port closest to the front of the motor, the valve clearance is 10 thousandths. So I'm going to write that down right now. So I'm now going to be checking the intake valve clearance on cylinder 6, which is right here. These are the cams. Can we check in that? Again, intake, the specified clearance is 12 thousandths. So I'm going to start at 12 and then go from there. So right here, so 6 intake. So we're going to. So 12 thousandths does not work, so now we're going to go down to 11s because that was too big. 11 thousandths. Okay, the intake valve clearance on cylinder 6 is both 11 thousandths. So our next step is to check the valve clearance on cylinder 2 exhaust valve. Again, exhaust OEM specified is going to be at 13 thousandths. So I get down to 13 thousandths, start off at that. We're going to be starting right here. Like I said, you want to be very gentle with these. You not want to cause any damage to the cams. Alright, so 13 thousandths. It's not, so we're going to go down to 12 thousandths now. Alright, so now we're going to go down to 11 thousandths. So we're down to 11 thousandths right now. Alright, 11 thousandths fits on. Alright, so the valve clearance for our cylinder 3 exhaust valves is going to be at 11 thousandths on both sides. Oh, I'm sorry, not cylinder 3, cylinder 2. So after we've checked our clearance for number 1 and number 6 cylinder intake and number 2 and number 3 exhaust valves, so now that we're done with checking those cylinders while the motor is set at top dead center for the first cylinder on the compression stroke, we are going to turn the crankshaft 240 degrees clockwise and then check the clearance for the next set of cylinders and valves. I will actually be using my torque wrench and be using the angle. So I'm going to zero the angle on this to 240 degrees of angle. Okay, so that 240 degrees is set. I'm going to try to go as slow as I can. Alright. On the passenger side of this motor, we are going to be checking the intake on cylinder 3 and exhaust on cylinder 5. The cylinder 3 is right here. We're going to be checking for intake. Intake is going to be set to 12 thousandths is the clearance specified in the book. So 12 thousandths right there. You're going to, again, gently be careful with this. You do not want to damage these cams. So 12 does not fit there. 12 does not fit there. So we're going to go down to 11 thousandths now and check that out. Okay, so 11 thousandths. 11 thousandths with a slight amount of drag. So the number 3 cylinder intake valves are both at 11 thousandths. I'm not sure where my camera cut out, but hopefully you guys were able to see what I did. I just checked my intake valve on cylinder 3, and it was at, both were at 11 thousandths clearance. I figured out that once I record one section and I stop, I have to turn my camera all the way off and all the way back on, and then my SD card won't have a problem. I do not know why. But now we are going to move on to cylinder 5 exhaust valve, which again, the maximum clearance is going to be at 13 thousandths, so that's what I'm going to start with. And that is going to be right here. Alright, and 13 thousandths does not work, so now I'm going to go down to 12 thousandths. Alright. So 12 thousandths does not work either, so now we're going to go down to 11. Sorry, I have a lot of repetition, but I'm trying to be distinct and informative on what I'm doing. Alright, so 11 thousandths. That's, just feel the drag. That's okay. If it's level, it's okay. It's a little bit of drag. All right, cool. So for exhaust valves on cylinder 5, they're both at 11 thousandths. So now we're going to go to the other side where we will be doing intake on cylinder 2 and exhaust on cylinder 4. So we are now on the driver's side, and I am going to be inspecting the intake valves on cylinder 2 and exhaust valves on cylinder 4. So we have 2 intake right here, starting off at 12 thousandths clearance. Okay, no. And no. So now let's go down to 11 thousandths. If I can get it, there's oil on my fuel gauge. Alright, let's go to 11 thousandths. Alright, there's 11 and 11. Okay, so now I'm going to mark down that my number 2 intake valves are both at 11 thousandths. So now we're going to be inspecting cylinder 4 exhaust valve. Make sure I'm still recording. Alright, cylinder 4 exhaust valve is going to be right here. Start off at 13 thousandths again, which is the maximum specification. I like starting at the maximum and then just going down from there. Alright, then 12. No to 12. No to 12. Now to 11. Alright, 11. And ooh, that still seems a little bit hard. Let's try one more time and just see if I got bad angle. Alright, so this one's 11. This one's still a little bit rough. Tying right down to the front to the motor. Our 4 exhaust nearest to the motor is at 11 thousandths. But one farthest from the motor, I'm guessing, is going to be at 10 thousandths. So let's check that. And right there, that is at 10 thousandths. Actually, is that a little bit of a loose 10 thousandths? That's alright. Yeah, so that's at 10 thousandths. For that one, again, I really hope that my fans and air conditioning are not too loud. Alright. So the next step you're going to do is turn the crankshaft an additional 240 degrees clockwise to measure the final intake and exhaust valves. It's going to be 4 and 5 intake valves and 1 and 6 exhaust valves. Sorry, my camera cut off on me again. I really need to set up like a Patreon account or something so I can afford to get an SD card and stuff like that. And a good microphone and all of that. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. Alright. Well, the angle has been zeroed. And we are going to be at 240 degrees. And begin turning. I'm going to try going as slow as you can when it comes to this. I can get a good reading. It's 111. Where am I at? 202. Alright. 220. 240. Alright, there we go. So, we are on the final check for the valves. We are doing, again, 4 and 5 intake and 1 and 6 exhaust. On this side, you're going to do 1 exhaust and 5 intake. And then on the other side, you know, obviously the rest. So, let's do 1 exhaust. Again, maximum is going to be at 13, so that's what we are start with. Not 13, so 12. Let's try 12. See where that goes. This is a very repetitive thing, obviously, you can tell. It's probably gonna be a long video of me just doing the exact same thing over and over again. Alright, let's try 11. Yep, there's 11, and there's... Actually, that 11 is a little bit easy. I'm gonna retry 12. Nope, 12 doesn't work, so 11 and 11. That's more like an 11.5, but alright. Next up is going to be intake on 5. So we are going to start with 12. That's not even out. Let's get to 12. Alright. You know what, let me try to position you so you can get a better view of this. It's right here. Starting at 12. And... Nope. Nope. Now, we're going to go to 11. No. And... No. So then 10. I'm guessing it's going to be 10. That's what I'm guessing at. That's 10 with slight drag and 10 with a slight drag. Alright, there we go, guys. So we are now going to be doing 4 intake and 6 exhaust. And I'm going to be starting at 12,000. Again, I will get a closer view. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Is that, there we go, can you see me? Can you see me? Maybe a little, I can do a little better. I can do better than that. Hopefully that's good. Alright, so we're going to start at 12,000. And wow, 12,000. With drag, let's try 13. It would make no sense for it to be above specified. Yeah, so that's at 12. Now let's inspect the other and see if that's at 12. I'm guessing it's going to be at 12 or 11. Let's try 11. Alright, so front to motors 12, back to motors 11. So our last and final valve is going to be exhaust on 6th cylinder. I'm not sure where I cut off over here because my camera did stop, but it was 12 thousandths and 11 thousandths. So now we're going to do the exhaust for 6. We're going to be starting at 13 thousandths. I'm going to try not to block the area so you can see. 13 thousandths does not work on either. So now let's do 12. I'm guessing it's going to be 11 thousandths. That's my guess. It's going to be 11. That's 12, and 12 does not work on either. Yep, 12 does not work on either. So like I said, I'm going to guess 11. See if my estimate is right. 11 and 11. Alright. Alright guys, so this is how I laid out my spec sheet. Oh, let me move this book out the way. As you can see, we have spec for intake, which is 12 thousandths. Spec for exhaust, which is 13 thousandths. Motor to the front pointing upwards. So, basically on the valves, the valve closest to the front of the motor goes first. So that's how I was able to determine, as you can see, 10,000, 11, 11, 10, all of that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 cylinder, intake, and exhaust, spec, motor front. That's how I have labeled all of my paperwork. yeah, so I hope this video was able to help out any of those who wanted to check out their valve clearance on their 350Z. Do this, put myself here, crank it up. And alright, so this is a very long video, very repetitive, but this is just checking valve clearance. It takes time and it is very repetitive. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will be uploading more disassembly, more disassembly videos of this motor very soon. I have a busy few days, but that was valve clearance, as you can see. Thanks for watching. Please make sure to check out SoCalZ.net for all of your Z needs. I'll leave the link in the description down below. If you use my promo code LOPEZ33, LOPEZ33, when your checkout cart is more than $550, you will get an additional $25 off your total purchase. And if your purchase is less than $550, please use my promo code just in the comment section so the website knows that I referred you to the website. Again, thanks for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, rate, and subscribe, and share the video if you can. Alright, peace!